Welcome back, everyone. Oh God, I just burped while talking, and it was really gross. I'm here with Sango and Bubs. That's a great intro to an episode. So I've been reading them terrible Neckbeard not fan fiction. I actually want to read Neckbeard fan fiction. not fan fiction by Neckbeards, fan fiction about Neckbeards.
That creepy ass shit.
I just want to see if anybody can do it. So, no, I'm reading them Neckbeard stories from, the Reddit page Neckbeard Stories, which is a gold mine of beautiful, horrible things.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, today, I read 2 stories so far. We're going to read one more of these because the name caught my eye. So this is written by Reddit user Throwaway Gah. That's how it is. Throwaway Gaah. Throwaway Gah.
Nice name, dude.
Yes, that's fucking. I don't know why I didn't just include weird shit in my name, but
your name is weird all by itself. It's okay.
I'm Moonhorse. I come from the moon. I don't know why I sounded like Paul McCartney. Sounded like Paul McCartney when I said that, but Anyway, moving on. Name of this story is I Went to School with a Conspiracy Theorist Neckbeard Pedo.
That sounds familiar.
Now you know why I wanted to read this. Throwaway, because whenever I bring up... I'm just reading this now. Throwaway, whenever I bring up pedophiles on a website, someone gets upset and spams my inbox. 3 times so far. First off, I just want to... This is a thing. This isn't in the story. I'm just going to put this out there. If your immediate defense upon hearing someone say that pedophilia is disgusting is to defend pedophilia, you are a pedophile.
Yep.
What other reason would you have to defend that? That's disgusting.
It is.
My favorite stupid argument that I've heard is, but it's a valid sexuality just like all the others. Actually, there's an addition to that one. If you want us, of all the other sexualities, to consider your pedophilia as a valid sexuality, you need to successfully copulate with an operating chainsaw. Can you do that? Can you fuck a chainsaw? I would love to see you try. You can use mine. I own one.
Here, let me turn it on for you.
Oh, it's in the other room. It's very large. So, back to the story. I don't really know how to start this, so I guess I'll just start with my first run-in with this bastard. I like that you started with vitriol. It was in middle school, 6th grade. Just been moved to a smaller, special but not too special ed class, and there's this boy we'll call C in it, who I had kind of a bit of a crush on. I tried to sit with him at lunch to get to know him better, but it ended up not working out too well because he ended up sitting with his friends and playing some card game. Yu-Gi-Oh! One of the kids he sat with was a level 1 Neckbeard. They have levels! Level 1 Neckbeard.
Oh, Lord.
And his name was Q. Q, at the age of 11, had already a fairly thick beard, which he had unchecked at 11? Wow. Long scraggly hair, which I am assuming he had seen a brush or squirt of shampoo since the day he grew it in. Nothing much happened our first run in. I didn't try to speak to C or any of his friends. They just played their card game and I ate lunch. Flash forward to freshman year of high school. Now I have a group of my own friends, K, T, and D. One context, K was a small, scrawny girl who was into anime, but not weeb levels. T was a dwarf and not very important to this story. That's cruel. And D was a large-breasted, rather self-conscious about this fact. There's no real reason to go beyond teenage girl going through puberty as far as I'm aware. K was the one who was attracted to Q. Oh, wait, K was the one who attracted Q to us with her interest in anime. I don't exactly know how they met, but one day he just started sitting with her at lunch to talk about anime stuff. There were 2 things that made this an issue. One, he liked to open up his laptop and show us all his lolly gore porn. Ew. I'm talking shit like little girls in their underwear getting impaled by hooks on chains and ripped apart. Oh god, yeah, I forgot that thing. Yeah, Oh, fuck, I forgot that that's a thing, and yeah, so, okay, side note to this story, that is a thing that, it exists. Don't Google it. Don't. Put your fucking mouse down. I'm not talking to you two. I'm talking to the people who are listening to this. I know you're listening to this. Put the mouse down. Put it down. I'm not fucking with you. Do not Google that shit. It'll scar you for life.
You don't want to see it.
Uncle Moonhorse knows what he's talking about. He's seen it too much. That's why I have a drinking problem. It's one of the reasons I have a drinking problem. There's a list, and they're all horrible the further you go down. Most of them can be blamed on the fucking internet. Anyway, back to the story. Number 2. He liked to call Dee tits because she had large breasts. Because he's classy. She asked him on several occasions not to call her this, and he would just sigh and continue to call her that. Because he's classy. Hope his nipple's getting gnawed off.
What did he call her? The audio cut out.
He called her tits because she had large breasts.
Ugh.
Classic.
Yeah. I hope his tits get gnawed off by a ravenous mountain lion. Fortunately, I'm sorry, I went with unfortunately, after a while, he decided to stop sitting with us at lunch in favor of sitting with C and some of the other boys and playing their card game. I never had a class, so I don't know what went up with him. Then came senior year. I signed up for an architectural drafting class off campus. Left after lunch each day and was bussed off to a trade school in another county. C and Q joined us. This is where things start to get really problematic. Made a friend in another school, R, who's into anime. Guess who latched on to her? I should probably give some context about R. She's had a lot of mental problems and was kind of emotionally stuck at the age of 12. She was watching anime like regular cartoons and wasn't into the culture at all. She watched Teen Titans Go and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the same kind of interest she showed to Sword Art Online and Ouran High School Host Club. Just, like cartoons. I can dig it. Q would sit next to her during class and during break and try to talk about anime and stuff. He never seemed to have his laptop with him, so we were saved from the lollygore porn. But hentai jokes were plentiful. Yeah, because when you're trying to hit on a milady, bring up cartoon porn. Classic. Poor little innocent R had been sheltered from that side of anime and was so confused. My God, you poor child, you've never been on the internet. One day in class, I hear C and Q talking about something. Wasn't really paying attention since I wasn't part of the conversation, but at one point Q says something along the lines of, "We shouldn't have emergency rooms. If you're going to die, you should be allowed to die." What the fuck?
What?
I turn to him and say, paraphrasing, "Dude, that's kind of fucked up. Like, what if an old lady or a little kid's crossing the street and some drunk asshole presses the gas instead of the brakes or some shit?" His response, "It's their fault for not getting out of the way in time." What?
Oh, whoa!
Yeah. Wow, okay. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was imagining a scenario different than the one I had in mind? I don't know. I don't really care, so I just stared at him, then went back to work. A few weeks later, I wake up and I don't know what's up, but I feel exhausted, both physically and mentally, no apparent reason. It's winter, sometimes that happens, so I just shrug it off, go to school. Ugh, we call that the caffeine failure. That's not in the story, I just wanted to say that. In the AD class, I sit down next to R and mention, I think I might have seasonal depression. R's like, "What's that?" Basically, I say, it's, when you get depressed and shit because it's winter and you're not getting enough vitamin D. See, that's the opposite for me. Winter makes me very happy. Summer makes me hate all things.
Same here.
Winter makes me giggly.
Q decides to chime in. "Bullshit? What? Psychology bullshit. It's all just a scam to make money off of people and interfere with survival of the fittest." What? "Mental illness is just evolution telling you not to contribute to the gene pool."
What?
What? Looking back, I can think of so many things I could have said to counter this, explaining evolution, talking about all the mentally ill parents who have mentally well children, but I didn't counter his argument. Instead, I just said, "Shut the fuck up." Honestly, best reaction.
Yeah, really.
Then I tried to turn back to my work. Q tried to continue this discussion. He started going off on some nonsensical rant about the entire mental health industry, as he called it, and how it was just a scam, spewing nonsense like medication doesn't do jack shit, and they change what's considered mental illness all the time. Yeah, okay, so his argument... I've heard this conspiracy theory argument where they're like, this is the same thing as people saying, like, there wasn't all these cases of autism until, like, almost the 1950s. How do you explain that? It's like, yeah, well, Mount Everest wasn't discovered until, like, 1827, but I'm pretty sure the fucking mountain existed before that.
As somebody with obsessive-compulsive disorder and depression, I'm going to have to really, really bite my tongue.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's just like, you are an absolute idiot and don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Neckbeard boy.
I have nothing to say. I come from a different dimension that I don't want to talk about.
So we continue. I wish I could say just continue to ignore him like that, but like I said, I wasn't doing well that day and I was being personally attacked and just tried to argue against him. I guess in my POV, I was trying to argue why I shouldn't commit suicide. Medication helped my ADHD. There's a legit reason why homosexuality isn't a mental illness, but schizophrenia is. No, it didn't, and no, there isn't. Seriously, Neckbeard boy, go fuck a cactus. That's all I have to say. Just really get it up there. All the spines.
Yes.
He wouldn't even listen to my argument. Oh, so he's a fucking smart guy. I don't know how he expected me to start agree. I don't know.
He's a brain cell.
Oh yeah, he's got one of those fucking conspiracy theory Alex Jones mentalities, where I'm always right and I know everything. I bet he's also the kind of person who says you have to have a high IQ to enjoy something like Rick and Morty. Fuck off. I don't know how he expected me to start agreeing with him. If you want to change a mind, you have to understand the mind you're trying to change, and he wasn't even going to humor the idea of humoring me. Eventually, the teacher told us to shut up, and we both went back to work. Christmas break happened shortly after that. I decided I wasn't enjoying AD and signed up for graphical design for the next semester. Now I only had to deal with Q on the bus, and in economics class. I kept to myself on the bus, listening to music with headphones on, and in econ I see what happened here. We were seated on opposite sides of the room. It's in-seated. I read that wrong. So little interaction there. Then my headphones broke one day. The seat behind Q and C and this kid we'll call D ended up being the only available seat, so I got on, sit down, and attempt to fall asleep. Can't though. Bus loud. Been there. End up turning to a random conversation. The one that is happening in front of me. That is the most fucked up thing I have ever heard you say, Danny was saying with laughter. Q responds, really? I fucking told you I was a pedophile, and that's the most fucked up thing I've ever said? Whoa! 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 Pump the brakes on that. Hold on now. Whoa! Okay. Woo! That explains a lot, actually. At least he admitted it was fucked up. I didn't say that. They wrote that. In hopes I was missing some key detail, I leaned forward and asked, dude, did you just say you're a pedophile? That's like a mental disorder, you know? I don't know why I felt the need to bring up mental illness. I knew very well how he felt on the matter. So Q another rant about how the mental health industry is a scam. It ended with Q saying, and yeah, rape is wrong, but children can consent to sex if you explain it to them, and people need to stop saying they can't, because that's basically the pedophile's equivalent to homophobia. No, it's not, kid fucker, you're disgusting. What the actual fuck? I said that, she said that, we agree on one thing here. What the actual fuck? This wasn't my job. I told the counselor about what he said and never spoke to this bastard again. I take solace in the fact that he looked like a werewolf Jesus and would never be allowed within 3 miles of a child. Yes! This is the end of my interaction with Q, but I do have one more story involving him. One day the bus pulled into the school parking lot, and the school was under lockdown, and we just had to sit there until everything was sorted out. This fucking kid decided to be funny to post on Facebook that he was going to shoot up the school and then not come to school the next day. We didn't know that at the time, though. We didn't know anything. Though, just being teenagers, we didn't take the situation too seriously. We all just kind of sat there, did our things, listened to music, talked to friends. At some point, the kid in the back of the bus started singing a little Einstein's theme song. As you do. Then the bus driver starts yelling at somebody. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, kid. You need to shut your mouth. The bus goes quiet. Then we hear Q respond. But if they want to catch this guy, they need to get into the mind of, are you out there looking for him? The bus driver asked. No, you're not, so shut up. Q, what the fuck's from the entire bus? Q didn't shut up. He started insulting the bus driver, telling her that she was an idiot and shit like that. Long story short, the rest of the year he was required to sit by himself in the front seat with no speaking privileges. Wow.
Dang.
That was pretty much the last story of Q. My mom brought him up at a parent-teacher conference after I told her about the teachers basically said his dad was out of the picture and his mom didn't give two shits about him. And he and I both got voted the most unique in the school yearbook, and after graduation he seemed to drop off the face of the earth. Googling his name brings up porn forums, DeviantArt accounts, which are mostly full of Disney character porn and World War II aesthetic art, and his Roblox account, all from high school days. I'm guessing whatever was fucking with his head made him decide to fucking disappear. TLDR, kid was a neckbeard from the beginning, only got worse as time went by. Wow.
Woo!
Wow!
Woo!
Whew! Oh, wow, that was, wow. But thanks for listening, everybody. I have like 1,000,001 things I'd like to say on this, but let's turn that into a podcast. Let's not do that here. Thanks for listening to us read this, this train wreck. Ooh!
I went into a different world for a couple of minutes.
This is one of those.
Hearing all of this, I went to a different dimension.
This is one of those stories when somebody says, like, you would never actually hit certain in person, and then you hear something like this, and you're like, yeah, I could probably actually do that. You wouldn't hit a high schooler if he was a racist pedophile, maybe, yeah.
Yes, I would.
I wouldn't hit the high schooler. You mean I wouldn't knife them to death in a parking lot and bury them in the backyard?
Look, I'm not saying I wouldn't feel bad about hitting a kid. I just, would absolutely feel justified. That's the difference.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
It's the same thing with shooting a Nazi. I would hate to take a human life, but at the same time, I would feel justified in doing it. So. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. You can like, comment, subscribe. That'd be really cool. Also, I have a Patreon if you want to donate dollars to listen to us read more crazy shit. We'd appreciate it. So, goodbye.
Yes. Bye.